Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sapan Jain, and my passion for spirituality has brought me here. And I intend to make a series of videos that will aid to a better understanding of spirituality. So, the topic for today's presentation is there any real right or wrong? So, before I elaborate more on this presentation, let's try to understand dharma, karma, the mind, and the nature, which form the crux of today's discussion. So, what is dharma? Dharma is the path of righteousness. And what is karma? Karma is not the performance of mechanical action. Instead, karma is the intention with which any action is performed. So, how are the mind and the nature involved here? The mind is having both the generic and the subtle function. I am sure every one of us is aware of the fact that mind is involved in any human activity which involves the use of five senses. But apart from this generic function, the mind is having a subtle function as well, which only the spiritually advanced people are aware of. The mind is a recorder. The mind records every thought and action which passes through it. And what is the role of nature? The nature is playing the role of a facilitator in fruition of the stored karmas. The karmas which you and me have been accumulating since ages. So let's try to understand that even if two individuals who are performing similar actions are actually storing different karmas. Take the case of a doctor and a robber. Both of them have been using knife to make their ends meet. But are they accumulating the same karmas? No, not at all. Instead, they are accumulating the karmas which are diametrically opposite to each other. Since there is a stark contrast between life-saving activities and life-threatening activities. So the bottom line is intention. Intentions form the pivot of our destiny rather than our actions. Now coming to the beliefs and perceptions, which are essential to comprehend today's discussion. Beliefs and perceptions are individualistic and subjective to a particular individual and a society. Consider the classic case of beef eating from an Indian perspective. Beef eating can be considered one of the most sinful activities by an Indian Hindu. But it can be very difficult for a European and a Chinese to grasp the validity of this argument. Since an individual is socially conditioned to think in a particular fashion. So how does an individual figure out what is right or wrong? The solution lies in the simple Newton's second law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If an individual is inflicting pain on an individual or an organism, the same pain will be reflected by nature in the due course of time. The nature is a perfect mirror and has a tendency to reflect back the very same intentions in the due course of time. The nature is slow, but the nature is perfect and smart. The nature paybacks the karma which we owe to it. So let's try to summarize what we have learned from today's discussion. Every individual should look out what they are giving at the intention level. They should listen to their conscience while performing any action. This will not only improve their life, but will also give them an opportunity to sit in the driving seat of their destiny. Thank you.